Hi, I'm Emily. Welcome to Bur Books. This channel has been something that I've had in the back of my mind for a while, but I've never actually gotten up the motivation to get it started. But apparently January 2026 is the month where this whole thing actually happens. So I'm excited to join the Book Talk, BookTube, Bookstagram community. There seem to be a lot of you out there sharing your love of books and reading, and I would love to be a part of that community. This video is kind of just like a little intro about me for my channel so that you can decide whether I'm somebody that you're interested in following and subscribing to my channel, because I would love to have a community on this channel that shares books and a love of books and great suggestions for things to read. So if this is something that you're interested in, please hit subscribe so that I can start building a community of readers for myself to interact with as well. So a little bit about me. I am a longtime lover of reading and books. When I was growing up, my mom was our elementary school media specialist, librarian. And so I spent afternoons, most days after school, in the children's section of a library, reading my favorite authors, whether that was picture books or moving on to chapter books as I got a little bit older. My mom really made an effort to instill a love of reading in me, and spending that much time around books, I mean, how could you not? So that really started for me very young, and I can even remember before those days of being in elementary school, going to the library and getting to pick out books from all of the shelves in the public library was like the most exciting thing that we could go do. Being able to come home with a stack of picture books that I could go into my room and read to myself was like the best present. So I do have very, very fond memories of books when I was growing up. I then went on to be an English major in college, and then went and got my master's degree in education so that I could teach high school English. That wound up not turning out to be what I decided to do with my life. I am currently employed full-time in higher ed. So I do have a full-time job, and then I also have a part-time job in addition to that throughout the full year. And then in the fall, I pick up teaching one or two sections of English 101. So I am super busy outside of social media and YouTube. So while a lot of book influencers, this is their full-time job and they've got lots of time to read lots of books, I have a full-time job and I am super busy outside of the internet. So I will probably not have end of the month reading hauls or reading reviews like a lot of the other book influencers have. I'm hoping to read about a book a week so that at the end of the month I can give you a 4 or 5 book roundup for what I've read and my reviews on those. I have a feeling that's really a realistic reading goal for a lot of you out there as well. Most of you probably have full-time jobs and kids and houses to manage, and it's not realistic for a lot of us to read 30, 40, 50 books in a month. So no shame. If you can read that many books, that's awesome. I wish that was my life. But for folks like me who have full-time plus part-time plus at certain times of the year an additional part-time job, this is a more realistic expectation for a lot of us. So, whether your, reading goal is 1 book a month or 1 book a week or 1 book a day, I hope you're willing to become part of my channel's community. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you're reading, what you're planning on reading. So for my monthly roundups or my monthly what's coming next videos, I hope you'll jump in the comments and say, hey, I read that too. Here's what I thought. Or, hey, this is what's on my TBR for this month. Like, here's what's on my agenda for reading for this month. I'd love to see what you guys are reading too, because that's a great way to get book recommendations. In all fairness, this is about 2/3 of my TBR pile on these shelves behind me. So I do have a solid chunk of books that I am trying to slowly chip my way through. I have about 140 books in my physical TBR pile, and I'm not even going to admit how many books are unread on my Kindle at the moment that are my digital library, because there's probably at least another 300 of those. But so you may be seeing some reviews of actual books that I've got physical copies of, and you may be seeing some reviews of books that I have read digitally on my Kindle. In addition to book reviews, I have a super guilty pleasure, and that is that I love book loot boxes. My daughter calls it my gambling addiction, because I love seeing what random things get sent to me in these book loot boxes. So I'm currently getting the Owl Crate Young Adult and Goodies box. I am on the waiting list for Lumicrate, so hopefully I get added to that list soon. I've also just signed up for Phoenix Crate, which is one I haven't heard of before, and I'm looking forward to getting my first box from them. That's a quarterly subscription. And then I am also subscribed to the Fairy Loot book box. I was supposed to have gotten my first box in December, but it never made it out of shipping purgatory, so hopefully that one gets to me soon, and if not, then my next box should be coming for January. So I'm looking forward to doing some unboxings for you guys as well, if you're interested in seeing what is in those, and if you're interested in maybe signing up for a subscription through those, seeing what's in those boxes before you pull the trigger on, signing up for a subscription. So in addition to book reviews and book loot unboxings, I might also have some videos where I show you guys some of my favorite bookish goodies. So things that I love that help me read, things that I love to kind of get that cozy reading feeling for one of those days of like a book reading marathon. I do have times where I can sit down and read for hours and hours. So I don't work on the weekends, and since I work in higher ed, I have a fall break and a winter break. I am not faculty, so I don't get a summer break, which is kind of a bummer, but I do have time periods where I can sit and read maybe more than one book in a week. So those time periods, I might have some longer book review episodes for you as well, like around December. So keep an eye out for those longer videos as well. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. In addition to, having a childhood filled with books, having an adult life filled with books, having a career where I get to also occasionally in the fall share my love of books with some students. I also have friends who are authors. This book here, Air of Deceit, is by one of my friends, Michelle Gordon. So if you haven't read that book, add it to your TBR for sure. So Air of Deceit is the first book in her series. And then over here is Shadow of the Last Men. And that was actually written by my husband. Super jealous, because growing up, one of my dreams was to be a published author. So I haven't given up on it quite yet, but he definitely beat me to it. And really, books are so important to me that was even part of the reason why I really wanted to marry my husband. Like when we were dating, we were sitting and reading together one day, and he had a brand new book, and I made a comment about how much I love the smell of new books. And he said, "I know, and look at all of the nice crisp pages." And that was kind of when I knew I wanted to marry him. So books in general are part of my life, and have always been part of my life, and I would really love to share that love of books and reading with all of you. So this has been a super long-winded intro to introduce myself to all of you, but I'm hoping that you join me here on Bur Books so that you can also find a collection of books that will stick with you. So hopefully I'll see you in the comments, subscribe to be part of my community, and I hope to see you in my videos. Thanks. Bye.